Let's bring in national security and military analyst Rebecca Grant. She's a senior fellow at the Lexington Institute. This Venezuela situation first, Dr. Grant. There are a number of critics who say we don't know who's driving those boats that the U.S. is blowing out of the water. How do you see it?
Oh, heck no. Those critics are wrong, John. We have exquisite maritime surveillance. Now, the Pentagon doesn't want to talk about this because it's an active intelligence operation. But we have, the P-8 surveillance plane. That's a Boeing 737 with an enormous radar on it. And that is just one asset. So we can see, our military can see the crew coming up to the dock. They can probably see the color of the paint on the boat. And they are incredibly careful about selecting these legitimate narco-terrorist targets and hitting them in international waters. There is no accident here. Trump and Rubio are very clear on this policy, and they're executing it quite cleanly, and I think they're going to keep at it.
I want to put up a graphic that shows the military assets that have been moved into the Caribbean, more than a dozen U.S. ships, including an aircraft carrier, which obviously has tremendous capabilities. There is the list. Now, all of this seems to have Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, extremely upset. He is, according to the Washington Post, the President Maduro is reaching out to Russia, China, and Iran to enhance Venezuela's, worn military capabilities and solicit assistance, requesting defensive radars, aircraft repairs, and potentially missiles. It's unclear from the documents how Russia, China, and Iran responded. If those three nations were to give him some help, how worried should the U.S. be?
Not very worried. So Venezuela and Russia have been buddies for a long time. I think they have some Russian air defense systems, some old ones. But with the presence of the USS Gerald R. Ford, that greatly expands both the land and sea strike options. It also expands the surveillance, the command and control. And that means that Trump can continue to carry out the policy of targeting the narco-terrorists. And don't forget, Secretary Rubio put a $50 million bounty on Maduro's head. Maduro's been indicted by the Southern District of New York years ago. And there is a clear connection, says the Treasury Department, between Venezuela and the drug gangs. That's the reason for this massive naval presence in the Caribbean.
Let's turn our attention to the situation in Ukraine. They have asked for U.S. Tomahawk missiles to be deployed, to be essentially given to them or purchased by them. Jack Keane says it wouldn't take all that long for the Ukrainians to learn how to use them. Listen.
We have very condensed programs for the Ukrainians. They go at it 7 days a week, 14 or 15 hours a day, Jackie. And these programs, even when we come up with a condensed program, probably something like the Tomahawk would be 6 weeks. And they would likely go faster than the condensed program. There may be some other reasons, but I'm not aware that this should be the reason. The president obviously has some information that I think is not being realistic in terms of what we have done in the past with the Ukrainians.
He was referring to the president saying that it could take a year for the Ukrainians to learn how to use the Tomahawks. If they were to get them, and if they have that shortened learning curve, what would that do in this conflict?
Well, General Keane is right. And remember, these Tomahawks are designed to put the squeeze on Putin to convince him to agree to a ceasefire. The Tomahawks can hit Russian energy pipelines and about 60 Russian air bases. And absolutely, I'm going to tell you this as well. The Army can deploy Tomahawks. They can get them into Ukraine, if this is the decision, via Europe, in about 24 to 48 hours. And yes, the Ukrainians have proven that they are experts in using long-range deep strike weapons, doing their drone strikes, of course, their air defenses with Patriot, Frank and Sam, so many other systems. They could quickly be used. And again, the idea is to pressure Putin just to agree to what Zelensky's already agreed to, and that is a ceasefire.
Dr. Rebecca Grant, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.